Hey, Magic friends, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Capnclyde's MTG spoilers for Labor Day Holiday Special Edition. So, what's so special about it? They dropped tons of cards today from Midnight Hunt. I ain't had a chance to look at all of them, although some of them, which have already rose to several people um, talking about how great they're going to be, have caught my attention. I've already looked at those, and I've got to admit, today is spoiler day, where basically, guys, they pretty much just spoiled every busted card in the set, so we could just get that out of the way in one fell swoop, right? So, sounds great. So, put them tray tables and seat backs in our full upright position as we take off into busted land of Midnight Hunt. And remember, guys, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, put some comments down below. Tell me what you think. Helps feed that YouTube algorithm so we can get some more views on the channel. I really do appreciate it. Also, tell your friends. That'd be nice too. So, without further ado, if you also want to support the channel, don't forget the eBay store is linked in the description. All my box opening series cards that I open from all my box openings go straight to eBay and go on sale there. So look out for that. And also look out for me to run more promo codes coming up. And later in the week, I will have a special video about Gen Con, what I'm doing at Gen Con, and what it means for the eBay store and the video. So stay in the loop for that later on this week. So we got a lot of cards to look at, guys. So let's get into it. First card we got here, we have the Pure Flame Dragon. Uh, 2 red and 3 for a 4/3 dragon with flying. Nothing special there. When it attacks, it deals 1 damage to target creature defending player controls. If that creature is a zombie, it deals 2 damage instead. Um, this is not a great card. In draft, it's going to be awesome. This is 4/3 flyer for 5. It's not terrible. But a lot of stuff in this set makes 2 toughness creatures, and a lot of stuff in this set makes 2 toughness zombies. Which, when you attack with this, you can start picking zombies off left and right. So I think this is going to be a major player. And depending from some of the stuff that I've seen, if zombies becomes a thing in the format, this will be a main starter in the red decks. And honestly, to be honest with you, just on standard curve, you'll see another dragon a little later. It fits in the curve really well. This might be just a good starter just because. So, moving on to our next card, we have the Vengeful Extermination. So this is 2 white and 6 as a sorcery. It costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. Destroy all creatures. So this, once again, is a great card to combat the zombie plague that we are going to have in Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Um, if you get 4 creatures on the battlefield, it costs 4 mana as your basic Wrath of God. I think this card's really good. I don't think it's going to be good from the jump, but it may be depending on how the format goes. It's going to be great and sealed. I think this will see standard play depending on the format because some decks just need Wraths. But we'll see. Also, I think this is going to be an amazing commander card because this thing could easily cost 2 white for you to wipe a board. So commanders out there, if you're playing white, this is for you. Moving right along, we have the guy's petition. So for a blue and 2, we have a Spirit Knight. It's a 2/2. It has flying, so that's a good rate. Other spirits controls +1/+1. So we have a Lord for 3. Really good. Like the art. Spells that you cast from regular cost 1 less to cast. This does a lot for the white-blue stuff. I forget what the stuff is called. It's not defiled. It's something. Disturbed? I don't know. Anyway, you can cast creatures from the graveyard that become spirits. So you can play a blue-white deck with this and turn your creatures into spirits after they die from combat and make them bigger. A, because +1/+1. Plus, cast them for less. I think this is going to be a great card in draft, maybe even in sealed. This is going to be definitely part of a standard deck and probably will find a home, to be honest with you guys, in the spirit deck in modern. Just because it does pump. But that also depends on if there's graveyard shenanigans. If there's not, there's probably better pumpers right now for that deck. But this card's definitely got a little something going. So moving on next, we have Brief Reprieve. So for a white and 2, we have an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent you don't control until Reprieve leaves the battlefield. So it's basically Banishing Light. Which is fine. It's an uncommon. Um, I think this is a great removal card for draft. Probably going to be a real good removal card in white in the format just because of planeswalkers. Being able to exile anything that's non-land is going to make this really high on the removal list. So I think this is going to be a great card. It's not going to see any play past draft, sealed, or standard though, because it costs 3 mana, and there's a lot better things you can be doing with your money, with your mana. But still, great card in uncommon. Now we have the Fearless Adversary. So before I get started on this card, apparently there is going to be a series, from what I've seen so far, well, every color is going to have a busted card by every stretch of the imagination. And when I say busted, I mean busted like it's probably going to modern. For example, with this one, uh, it's 1 white and 1 for a 3/1, and it has lifelink. Now, when a Fearless Adversary enters the battlefield, you may pay a white and a colorless any number of times. Put that many courage counters on it. If you do, all creatures you control get +1/+1 for each courage counter on the Fearless Adversary. So what that means is, for 4 mana, you can make a 4/2 that pumps your whole team. It's basically an anthem with legs. So now you can play your anthems as creatures. Second, it says you may pay a white and a colorless any number of times, and before that it says enter the battlefield. So it doesn't matter if it comes out of your graveyard, if you disenchant a Banishing Light style effect, or Glass Casket kind of effect where it goes out of the field and it comes back in, you can just spend mana and give it courage counters then. If you blink it with a Yorion, when it comes back in, if you've got buttloads of mana, you can put courage counters on it then. This thing is busted on all kinds of stretches. And I'm glad it's a mythic, but at the same time, this might be too good for standard. This is probably on power level with modern, and I could see this being a modern card. Because 4 mana for a 4/2 is fine, but 2 mana for a 3/1 with lifelink might be fine as well. Because also, guys, this is a human. So, human decks might want to use this. I want to say no, but hey, you never know what could happen. And I mean, modern's getting weird these days with all the modern Horizon prints and everything else. But this is an amazing card for sealed and draft, and a busted card for standard. I mean, it's busted for sealed and draft too, but I mean, how would it not be? Just because you could just pump this thing to oblivion. Um, so yeah, I mean, imagine that 6 mana, you get a bunch of 1/1s. You just lay this, with 2 courage counters on it. Now all your 1/1s are 3/3s, and this thing's a 5/3. Like, what? Yeah, busted card. And this is gonna be one to watch out for, guys. It's gonna be expensive. Moving right along. So here we have Sunset Festivities for a white and colorless. We have a sorcery. If the opponent has more life than you gain 4 life. Okay. If an opponent controls more creatures than you, create 2 1/1 white human creature tokens. If the opponent has more cards than you, draw a card. So again, should be a mythic. Because this is just a better version of reinforcements that the white deck used to play in modern against burn, where you got 2 creatures, gain 4 life. Except this one will let you draw a card, make 2 1/1s, gain 4 life. It costs 1 less. I don't care that the creatures are smaller. The fact that you gain less life, you get to draw a card off of it possibly. Plus, it's 1 less to cast. You could easily, if you go first on turn 2, this is nothing but a draw 1 card for 2 white mana for 2 mana, and that is fine, especially in white. This card is going to be nutso in this environment. Think about it. Turn 1, you lay a land. Turn 2, they lay a land, make a creature. Your turn, you lay a land, tap, play it. You don't gain 4 life, but you get 2 1/1s and you draw a card because they have 1 more card than you because they got the draw first. Seems pretty busted, guys. I'm telling you, this is going to be a thing. This may even be modern playable. This thing is nuts. Wow, is this thing good. Yeah, draft, sealed, commander. Just, yeah, because the commander says if an opponent, so it's any opponent. You could have one opponent have more life and you gain 4 life. The next opponent has more creatures, so you get 2. Yeah, like this thing is nuts. This should be a rare at least. This thing is so good. This is like Advance on steroids. If you guys didn't play back when Advance was in, whew, yeah. Anyway, moving on. So here we have something not in English. So we have the Cut Purse Thief. So for a black and 2 over here. You get a human rogue that whenever Cutthroat Thief enters the battlefield, destroy target creature you don't control that was dealt damage this turn. That's pretty basic. It has Disturb. Oh, yep, that's Disturb. That's the mechanic I was talking about. You get him out of the graveyard for 5. When you get him out of the graveyard for 5, he's a 2/1. He becomes a Greedy Geist. That's funny. Spirit Rogue, Flying Death Touch. It's a 2/2. Cool. If it would be put into graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. This is okay, I guess. Only because it has Death Touch. I don't see this seeing standard play. I think there's a lot better stuff you can be doing in black. But in draft and sealed, this is definitely going to be an all-star because of the recursion. First time if they do some shenanigans to kill your creature, you can easily just play this guy for 3, kill their creature, and then when this guy dies for 5, bring him back with Death Touch, and he has flying, so he blocks everything. This looks like a great sealed card. Probably going to be really high on the draft pick list. So moving right along. So here we have the Mysterious Tome on this side, which is a blue and 2 artifact. It says 2, tap, draw a card, and then you have to transform it. So when you transform it, it becomes the Creepy Chronicle. It's funny. It's an artifact that for 1 and tapping, tap target non-land permanent, transform the Creepy Chronicle. Wow, is this amazing. For 2 mana, you just draw a card, and then the next turn you tap a non-land permanent, and it flips back. So it's technically, you can draw a card every other turn, but it's 3 mana. I like how they're spacing this out and trying new ways to get draw spells and stuff into the format without them being really busted. But this still seems busted because tapping non-land permanents is pretty simple. Like when you transform it, like the next time you just tap down something that's going to swing at you and then draw a card the previous turn. Yeah, this is this is really something. This is going to be great in draft, sealed, commander players. Here you go, guys. You want easy way to draw cards. I don't think it's going to see modern play. 3 is way too much. This will definitely see some standard play, though. So moving right along, here we have the covetous debiter over here. For a blue and 1, we have a human. When it dies, you get to mill 3 cards. Okay, so 1/3. Disturbed, it comes back for 5. Disturbed, it comes back as the Ethereal Collector. It says when an Ethereal Collector enters the battlefield, shuffle up to 3 cards from your graveyard to your library. When it dies, you exile it. It's a 3/4. Not too great. Fine for draft. Don't think it's probably going to see very much play in any format, maybe in Commander. Probably going to be fine in draft and sealed. But other than that, not too exciting. Moving right along, we have Hungry for More. Are you hungry for more, guys? I'm hungry for more. Anyway, so we have a red and a black. We have a sorcery. It creates a 3/1 black and red vampire token creature with trample, lifelink, and haste. Wow. You sacrifice it at the beginning of your end step and flashback of 3. That's fair. It's kind of like a ball lightning, except 2 colors and smaller. So I think this is going to be an okay card. Fine in draft, probably fine in sealed. Only in certain situations, though, it does die at the end of turn. It does have lifelink, so unless you have some combat tricks, probably not going to be the best thing in the world. In standard or even modern, this might have legs more in standard than in modern, just because of how cheap it is to get that 3 damage across. Might be alright, but we'll have to wait and see. Moving along, we have the Briar Bridge Tracker. So here's a rare. It's a green and 2. Has vigilance. When the tracker enters the battlefield, you investigate. Great, so you get a clue. As long as you control a token, it's +2/+0. Oh, so it's a 4/3, and you get a clue out of it. It seems kind of powerful. I mean, Thraben Inspector is a little better probably, just because you can play Thraben on 1, draw the card off the clue on 2. Although this does make the tokens do make this card bigger and better. Still, this is going to be a highly played card, unless some better 3-drops come around, because getting clues are pretty sweet because you can draw cards later with them. So yeah, great in draft, probably standard, definitely sealed. So moving right along, we have the Loyal Griff. Oh, we're back to English now. Just now noticed that. I'm paying attention, I swear. So a white and 2, we have a 2/2 flyer with flash. That's already amazing. When it enters the battlefield, you may return another target creature you control to its owner's hands. Wow, is that nuts? So this is a great way for combat tricks to prevent your opponent from killing your creatures. You swing in or they swing in, you block to trade. They have a combat trick. You play loyal griff, pick your guy up. Now they've wasted their card. This is gonna be just a great card in draft and sealed. Just phenomenal. Plus, nothing like nothing like ambush viper and somebody for two that has flying, which you can block anything. I mean it's 4/3, but it's a 2/2. So yeah, I think this card's gonna be really good. I don't know if it's gonna see a whole lot of play in standard, just because it's gonna depend how deck archetypes pan out. But if there's some kind of weird shenanigans where entering the battlefield matters, this might be a thing. Moving right along. Alright, so the spectral adversary. Here's the blue busted card, probably, because it's a mythic, and it's 2 mana for a 2/1 flying flash spirit. Hello, modern. With that said, spectral adversary enters the battlefield. You may pay blue and a colorless any number of times. When you pay this cost one or more times, put a +1/+1 counter on the adversary, then up to that many other target artifacts, creatures, and or enchantments phase out. So this is pretty bonkers. This is a great card for probably standard, to be honest with you. If you play in blue white, which looks like a theme for spirits, you can put this in play and blink your Oblivion rings to get better things later in the game. In modern, like you can blink their stuff out to get your stuff back. Like this is crazy. My God, this is so good. Um, Not to mention it has flash, so you can combat trick, blink your guy out. Um, Jesus. First the white one, now the blue one. This is so good. This is going to be a high dollar card, guys. I think it's going to see modern play. It's going to be good in standard if standard has enough stuff to support spirits. It's going to be phenomenal in commander, because if you get to turn, I don't know, turn 5 and the 5,000 mana you guys like to put on the table, you blink the whole table out in one turn. But anyway, um, yeah, this is amazing. So busted card number 2 for blue. Already seen the white one. All right, so moving on. We have the Chaplain of Alms, 1 white for a 1/1. He has first strike, ward 1. Jeez, Louise. Um, and he has disturb 4. So basically, if you disturb 4, he becomes a 2/1. Looks like. Was I smart enough to put that card next? Yep, I was. So, and the 2/1 version is first strike and flying, and each creature you control has ward 1. Wow, this is amazing uncommon. This thing is nuts. So yeah, this is gonna be any deck that plays white aggro. Great in draft, great in sealed. Um, yeah. I mean, this might even, man, this might even see modern play. This is really good. This might force, like the way the spirits are looking with all the disturb abilities when they come into play, from disturb and have better effects. This might make the spirit deck play different in modern now as we go. So just think about that as we go through, look at all these other spirits. Like that may change the whole dynamic of that deck. So moving forward, or make a whole new spirit deck. Next here we have grafted identity. 2 blue and 2. So additional cost of the spell, you sacrifice a creature and you enchant creature. You control the enchanted creature, it gets +1/+1. So this is a really piss poor control magic, because you have to sack a creature. Obviously in draft and seal, this is going to be phenomenal because stealing people's stuff is just amazing. I don't think it's going to be really great in standard or modern. However, the commander guys might get a kick out of this just because it's cheap and it steals people's stuff. So let's adjust to that. Not as exciting as I thought it would be. Anyway, nibblegast intruder. So this one is a blue and 2 for a 2/1 flash flyer. When it enters the battlefield, up to 1 target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-2 in their turn. This is going to be great in draft and sealed because it's a combat trick for you to kill stuff that's smaller, that has 2 power, and this can block or help gang block to kill it. Might be a great card. This probably won't see modern play because 3 mana is way too much. But once again, if the spirit deck becomes a whole different thing, this might be. I still don't think it's going to be something in modern, but if there's a spirit deck for standard, this might be one of those cards that ends up in it. Moving forward, we have the Burley Breaker. That's funny. For 2 green and 3, you get 6/5, which is pretty good rate for 5 mana, especially since it has ward 1. That's phenomenal. Also has day bound, so if no spells are cast in their turn, it becomes night the next turn. And what that means for you is this bad boy comes your way, where he becomes an 8/7 with Ward 3, which if you haven't played, you know Ward 3 is really hard to deal with. Um, so yeah, gonna be great in draft and sealed. Depending how the green decks go, this might be a contender for the 5 spot, just cause it has lots of protection, really hard to kill, and can really end the game quickly. But we'll have to wait and see how the green cards flow. All right, so here's a black mythic that's on par with the other ones that are extremely busted. We've seen the white, we've seen the blue. Here is the black. So tainted adversary, a black and 2 with 2/3 death touch. That's already phenomenal without this whole bucket of text below it. That's just nutly good. Then when it enters the battlefield, for every black and 2 you pay, you get this thing gets +1/+1, and you get twice that many 2/2 black zombies. So if you cast this for 5 and make this a 3/4, you also get 2/2 black zombies with decay. How bonkers is that? Now, once again, guys, remember when it enters the battlefield. So it can enter the battlefield from anywhere, you still get to activate that ability. Now, remember, creatures with decay, they can't block, and once they attack, they sacrifice at the end of combat. So that's one thing I forgot about before is decay creature can't block. But like, come on. If you're gonna make decay creatures all day long and you make a black blue deck and you have the control magic, I mean, just sacrifice your decay creatures that you've made because you know they suck. And if they don't have anything to block with or enough things to block with, you literally could just swing with both your creatures because they can't block, right? So let them kill one zombie, hit them with the other one for 2, then sack it and use control magic to steal their stuff. Like, this card is just so bonkers. I mean, you play a white black deck with that other one, that white one. You play this and make, this a 3/4 and 2/2/2s, and then you do that on turn 5, and on turn 6 you lay that thing. You put 2 courage counters on. Now everything gets +2/+2. Now the zombies are 4/4s, and this is just nuts. Yeah, but so busted card for black. Here it is. Get them while they're hot, guys, because these are going to be expensive when standard fires up. Moving right along. Next here we have the Celestis Sanctifier. So for a white and 2, we have a 3/2, not bad. If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day as it enters the battlefield. That's fine. When day becomes night or night becomes day, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into the graveyard. Okay, so kind of a surveil type style card. Not terrible. Great for not going to be standard playable, obviously, but this is going to be great for draft and sealed. This is going to be probably going to be an all-star. So moving right along. Campbell Grove Witch for a white and 1, you get a 2/2. That's right on point. Beginning of combat on your turn, it has Coven. So if you control 3 creatures with different powers, it gains flying. All right, not spectacular, but definitely good in draft and sealed. Gets a 2/2 body, and best case scenario, it becomes a 2/2 flyer that you can actually get in there with. So not the best thing in the world, but definitely no slouch. So I'm okay with it. No standard play probably. Sun Gold Barrage, 3 mana, destroy target creature, toughness 3 or greater. Okay, I kind of get down with that. This will make killing the zombie really easy, but killing spirits and that white thing will be real hard. This toughness doesn't go to 4 real easy. But still, as a common, it's a good removal spell. Definitely draft and sealed play about as far as it goes. We have the Ritual Guardian, white and 2 for a 3/2 again. This time it has Coven, which means it gains lifelink to end of turn. Alright, so that's just filler space. It's okay if you've got no other creatures to play, but it's not doing much other than a 3/2 for 3. Next here we have the Hedge Witch Mask. That is the most terrifying. Last time I seen something like that, it was out of an Aliens movie. Anyway, so for 1 white, the equipped creature gets +1/+1. So it's equipment. So you got to play it for 1 white, equip it for 2. The equipped creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 4 or greater. So that's just a really weird common. I don't think it's going to be good. We'll have to wait and see. Moving right along. Auger of Autumn. So this is a rare from green. I did take a look at this before, and this is not the mythic from green, but I think it's right on that power level, and here's why. So for 2 green and 1, you only get a 2/3. But you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play lands from top of your library. That right there, guys, this is the new Courser of Crewfix. Now, it's not a 2/4, so it can be killed rather easily. But still, land drops from top of your library, that this is just bonkers for green. This is going to be so good. Like, this should have probably been a mythic. I mean, Courser's not a mythic, it's only a rare. But that thing was so expensive when it was in standard. Now, I'm not saying this will be any good outside of standard or draft or sealed, but this is going to be a powerhouse in those formats of limited and standard. Maybe a little bit in green commander. Now you have this and Courser, so you get to do it twice. Or not do it twice, but 2 shots at finding it. And then it has Coven, which is creatures with 3 different powers. When it does, it says you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. So it's better than Courser of Crewfix. Really think this should be a mythic. Really do. But yeah, so this is a powerhouse from green. It's not the green mythic powerhouse that we're probably going to see at some point. But this is a real powerhouse in green. Wow, is it good. So next here we have the Turn to Earth. So this is a 1 green uncommon. It says choose up to 3 target cards in a graveyard. Those owners shuffle those cards in their libraries, gain 2 life, flashback 2. A little bit of graveyard shenanigans, put a stop to silly stuff. Probably be good in sealed. Probably won't do a whole lot in standard. I don't think it's going to do a whole lot in modern either. Not with all the latest elements or elementals. Elementals that came out in Modern Horizons, because you really can just use the green one and flash it into play and put their entire graveyard on the bottom of their deck, so they can't use their graveyard. So yeah, I mean, it'll be fine for standard, but in modern we have better things. So next here we have defend the Celestis. So 2 green and 2 for this instant. It says distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures you control. For sealed and draft or limited in journals, this is a fine combat trick. However, that's as far as it goes. 4 mana to put +3/+3 on 1 creature at best, or distribute them so creatures don't die, will only help you in limited probably, and this won't see play anywhere else. So Next here we have the Corpse Cobble. So for a black and blue instant, you sacrifice a creature as part of the cost. And then you create an XX blue and black zombie creature token where X is the total power of the sacrificed creatures. Oh, you sacrifice any number of creatures. Let's see. Let me read this a little more closely for you guys. So sacrifice any number of creatures. Create a XX blue and black zombie token with menace, where X is the total power of sacrificed creatures. Okay. I guess this is fine to kind of avoid some combat tricks, as you can make a really big XX zombie out from under somebody trying to kill something, which is fine for a blue and a black. So in draft and limited formats, it will probably be great. However, I'm not thinking it's going to be anything good in standard. This might be something for some of the older formats. Once they cheat a creature in, they can corpse cobble it into a real creature that stays around. Maybe. Just me spitballing in the dark, boys. I don't know what to tell you. This one's going to be a weird one, so I'd keep an eye on it. Moving right along. All right, so we have Molation. This is pretty much a reprint. 1 red, creature gets +2, +2, -2. This is your basic creature enchantment. You can use as removal or to pumps to your team. For red, it's pretty cool. It's basically -2, basically makes it a shock. But the bad thing about it, if you can't kill the creature with it, it's just going to be huge and punch you in the face even harder. So, be careful how you use this. Moving along. All right, guys. So here's the red bomb we've all been fearful of. Moonveil Regent. It's a red and 3 colorless for a 4/4 flyer. That alone makes it mythic status, because it's not 2 red and 2. It's 1 red and 3. You can put this in any splash deck. This is amazing. Now, whenever you cast a spell, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw a card for each of that spell's colors. When the regent dies, it deals X damage to any target, where X is the color number of permanents among permanents you control. So, for example, best case scenario, let's say you play this in modern, because you're being silly, because I don't think this is modern playable, though it very well might be. If you're playing a domain deck with 5 different colors, you cast a 5-color spell, you may now discard your hand and draw 5 cards because that spell has 5 colors in it. If you have no hand, you're just drawing 5 cards. Like, bonkers good. Let's say you're playing a monocolor deck. Hey, here's my dragon. All right, my turn, untap. All right, I'm going to bolt, shock, you name it. For 1 mana, that. All right, it's my only card in my hand, so kill that. All right, draw a card. Oh, look, a red creature. Play that. Okay, draw 1 more card. And you just keep drawing till you run out of mana or you draw land. Like, this is insane. And if you're playing a 2-color deck, like Is It, for example, and you're Prismari commanding and the blue red one that lets you get 3 cards and put them where you want, and like, sweet mother of God, is this thing busted. Gotta admit, love the flavor with the wings. I like the art in general. I think this is a sweet card. And if you have something in play that has 2 colors in it at least, I mean, shocking anything, even your opponent, after you've been punching him in the face for 4, maybe enough to kill him. So, yeah, this is your red busted card. That's a mythic. Boy, how far we've come. This is nuts. And this card is going to be. Oh, by the way, guys, just so you know, this card is going to be like $1,000. I'm joking, but it's going to be stupid expensive because not only is this thing going to be busted in standard, it may have modern playability. It's definitely going to be played in Commander because it's a dragon, and we just had Dungeons and Dragons come out. This dragon's going to go into every Commander Dragon decks. This card is going to be so hot. And it's mythic. It's going to be hard to get. Yeah, this thing is going to be a powerhouse. So pick them up early, boys, because they're going to be expensive. Although I wouldn't pay more than $30 for this if I was you. I'm just guessing. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't want to pay more than 20, but I think 20 is a pipe dream. I think it'll be more than 20 because the Goldspan Dragon is more than 20, and it's 5 for a 4/4. Granted, it makes tokens. Still, this thing is easily going to be $30 to $40, maybe even 50. Heck, who knows? This thing's nuts. I can't even describe to you how busted this card is. Like, been playing since Revives, boys. I ain't never seen no crap like this. Oh my god. And no drawbacks. Like, none. Not one. Man, is this thing pushed. Anyway. So, boy, that's a rough one. So I believe that's everything, guys. Yep, that's everything for this round. Man, did we see some powerhouse cards come out. We haven't seen the green mythic yet, unless I've missed it in a um, previous video. But the 4 mythics I showed you today for the other colors were such powerhouses that I still think there's a green one out there somewhere that's going to be a powerhouse on the same power level like the ones we saw today. And man, are these things busted. It's either going to be a really fun standard or a really broken standard. I guess we'll have to wait and see, guys. So, with all that said, thanks a lot for watching. I do appreciate it. Until next time, remember to be kind and stay tuned for all the upcoming Gen Con information, store information while I'm at Gen Con, and all those hootenannies and shenanigans coming forward. Because I'll get into the Gen Con stuff during the Gen Con video. We've already been half an hour. So, see you next time, guys, and you take care.